Hi everyone, Kate here. Now obviously I'm not live today. We do try our very best, but sometimes things come along and it can't always be that we can be live at the exact moment. So I'm doing this one as a pre-record and then sharing it at the allocated time as usual. However, I am going to try and just film it all in one as if it was a live. So no fancy editing, no streamlining of anything, keeping it real. It wouldn't be me if I didn't lose something halfway through and have to go rustling about looking for it. So yeah, we're going to keep it real. The only difference, of course, is I won't be around to answer your questions live. I will read every comment, any questions, so please feel free to leave comments as usual, and I definitely will be checking back in. So welcome to you all for being here, live or not. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to any of our retailers that are here. And as usual, please do share those links underneath. I still get asked questions. Where can we find your stamps? So please do share links for everybody. It really, really helps. Also, talking about where to buy stamps, if you're struggling to find a local retailer, just visit the Paper Artsy blog. Look at the top, it says stockists, and there's a list there of international stockists, and you're sure to find something local to you. So after this recording, this video will remain here in this group, so you can always check back for samples and ideas. I also usually like to share it to YouTube and share it to my own Facebook group, Create with Kate. Now, talking about links and sharing, I started doing all this kind of thing back in 2008, which bizarrely seems like a lifetime ago. Technology's moved on, the internet has moved on, and things recently have got a little bit disparate. Back in the day, we all just had a blog and it was fine. Now there's stuff on, Instagram, it's on YouTube, it's here, there and everywhere. So I am in the process of creating a website. It's going to go live very, very soon. That website really is just a window sharing all of my links, so it makes it very easy to find everything in one place. And you can look for that on www.katecrane.co.uk. Hopefully that will just streamline everything and just make it super easy to find everything. And websites have got easy now, so we don't even need like web designers and things. We can just kind of go in and update things as we wish. So today I have got 3 new stamp sets to share with you and 3 stencils. As usual, the fabulous Katie Norgate, Paper Artsy blogger, has made me samples in advance, fabulous samples as ever, and sent those. So I've got those to share with you as well today, plus quite a few of my own. So first of all, let's look at the stamp sets. I'll give you a proper view when I've swiveled the camera around, of course. So first of all, this is KCO2121 and some more funky little people, and you might see somebody a little bit recognisable in there. And this next one, I'm going to call these the collage stamps, because these are already put together as like contained little pictures. You can just colour those in, add them, and I'll show you lots of samples, and I'll also show you back in my little sketchbook where that originated. And then final stamp set here, pigeons. I love pigeons. I think they are so comical. They're kind of worldwide. You find them all over the world. They're very comical. So just a cute, funky little pigeon set there. And then 3 stencils. So first of all, this one is PS009. This is squares. And this one, PS511. Little dots and dashes. This makes a really, really nice kind of gentle background, all over background. And I think I've got these in the wrong order. Never mind, it won't be me if I didn't get something wrong. This one, the circle. So this one is, circles, they just never fail. They always work. So the circle is PS510. Now I've got lots and lots of samples to share with you, backgrounds, cards, tags, journal pages. So I'm going to pause this here, turn the camera, and then we can start having a closer look. Let's begin then with stamp set KC02121. Now this is more of my crazy little people. So 4 little characters on this set. This one I like to think of him as sort of jive dancing with his arm in the air there. This one with arms outstretched, and I kind of did a quote to go with this one, I love you this much, with that's sort of a nice thing to put maybe on greetings cards or whatever. This one gifting a flower, and I also have the little quote here, for you. And then this one, who might look a little bit familiar to you, and the quote here, artist at work. So these are just really fun, quirky little characters. Now, as usual, you can use them individually, one character maybe on a tag, on a greetings card, or you can group them up, repeat them, and use them on larger journal pages, for instance. Now let me show you some examples of these. First of all, here is little character gifting a flower with the quote, for you. I've recently discovered these kind of little, I don't really know what you call these, like little wobblers and spinners for cards. They're just so fun. And here you might notice as well, she's on a background of the broken squares stencil with just a little bit of muslin and then layered up over a gel plate print there. Just a little bit of ledger for her to stand on. She's just been coloured with regular watercolours, and that one is just as a card. This one has slightly more of a grungy look. So here is the artist at work. Now again, you might notice the background here is the broken squares stencil, and this is using the grunge paste with infusions on the top. It kind of acts as a little bit of a resist, so you get your whiter squares and your kind of quite grungy background there. And then these are a couple of alcohol ink gel prints circled up around behind her to sort of kind of frame that figure in the middle. So there we have the artist at work. Again, she's been coloured just in regular watercolours on this one. I'm going to be sharing some different colouring techniques with you, and in a craft along live that I've coming up shortly soon too. And here is another one. Let me bring that in a bit closer for you. Coloured in watercolours again. The background on this one is the circle, the new circle stencil, and that's made with alcohol ink on the gel plate. And you can see as well I've built up a bit here. Now behind here, what I've done in this one is I've actually snuck in one of these frames. Now my focus in my next live craft along is going to be this particular stamp set here, how to colour, but also how to mask and get rid of that toadstool or whatever in the middle, so that you can add a different character into that frame. So let me show you that again. You can now see that she's probably see that she's sitting in the middle of the frame. So this background bit here is already made. All those little circular doodles, the moon, it's all there ready just to place her on top. And this one here is by Katie Norgate. She does something quite different. She likes to leave me little notes on the back. Frescoes onto opaque white Durala. So this is a painted version. And she's brought in there the echinacea from a previous stamp set to kind of match the flower here. Nicely, nicely done. I'm going to show you the cover of Katie. This is an absolute masterpiece of Katie, which I'm going to come back towards the end, because there's so much in here. But just to show you one or two bits from here. So we can see the same little character on the front there, artist at work. And then inside, So she's got the little jive dancer, but she's got him hanging, so he's kind of moving around. And then another hanging, and there she's got the I love you this much. And Katie, always little arms folded there, in true style she's added the little smiley face. Of course you can do that. I tend to leave the face is fairly empty because then it allows you to add expression if you want to. And there's the, oh, she's another little smile there, look, and she's put the for you with the flower. Really, really nicely done. I'm going to come back to that though, because she's also got all the other stamp sets appearing in there as well. Little masterpiece that, isn't it? So I'm going to move on now to this stamp set here. Let me see. Oh, oh no, I found it. I thought I'd lost something already. So this one originally started in my my little traveller's journal. I often just sit and doodle, sitting down on a night or whatever. And I was looking at a nature book about seasons, and that's where that little sketch started. And from that, I decided to turn it into a stamp set. There's so much you can do with these, and I will show you some samples of that in a moment, of different ways of colouring, different ways of building it up. So obviously we've got the toadstools, the trees, some are sunny, some are moonlight, whatever. And the nice thing about these is they are pretty much ATC size. So you can just cut those out, put them straight on an ATC. They also fit really easily under pages of things like your traveller's journal. It's just kind of the right size. You can use them on tags, greetings cards, or whatever. I'm going to show you some samples. I'm going to start with this bigger one actually. So this is, oh, you can see the last release here. So this is in my large craft. I think it's an 8x8 square craft journal here. And what I've done in the background, these are prints, so you can see the lines and the dots and the dashes here. This is the squares. And on the top, I've built up with a bit of black card, white card, some prints in the background. I've built up on the top here this little kind of plaque, I suppose you can call it. Now this is paper pieced. So I stamped it onto a gel print. I stamped the toadstool onto a gel print, and I've lifted it up, and you can see it's kind of mounted with dimensional fixes as well. So that's all done by paper piecing on gel plate prints, and using those gel plate prints boxed like that builds it up to a bigger thing on a bigger page. Remember, this bit is just ATC size. And this is another one that is paper piece. So I've stamped this on a gel plate print, and again, got that one on a little wobbler. Just a bit of fun, that, isn't it? And again, mounted up, look, you can see it's sort of dimensional there. This quote here, peace, love, freedom, is actually from the Pigeon set. Now, this one is slightly different. So you can see in the background here, this is a alcohol gel plate print using the broken squares again. But this topper here is just simply coloured in watercolour. So a very light blue wash in the background. I've added some extra little transparencies and built it up here. And then toadstool, just coloured in watercolours. And again, you can see just dimensional little fixes to build it up, and then just with a little bit of ribbon, ledger, bit of muslin fabric in the back there, just to build that up onto a greetings card. This one is coloured with watercolour. This is the sort of thing you can even just sit and do on your knee in front of the TV on a night or something. There's no, it's not difficult to colour. I've just used a very simple wash of blue, bit of green here in the background to build up sort of the sky and the grass, whatever. And then a little bit of a red wash on that toadstool. For this one though, I found a quote in an old book about fairy tales. So some people might say, you might think Toadstools, they're autumnal. I tend to think of them more as fairy tales, very much associate them with magic, folklore, fairy tales. So not necessarily just seasonal. And I've mounted again on a bit of ledger, bit of muslin, just the sort of neutrals to build that up. And again, a little bit dimensional. And that's quite a different look, a slightly more gentle look. So a couple here from Katie. Now, isn't that magnificent? I love it on this dark background. I think, yeah, she stamped onto coloured card and she's used pencil crayons to colour that in, but isn't that effective on that really dark card? And this is what I mean when I say it reminds me of folklore and magic. To me, that really sums it up. And again from Katie, colouring on, you know, she's very fond of using coloured cardstock, and she just makes it work so well. I just want to show you these few little samples here. This is what I'm going to be focusing on in my next live craft along, so that you can join me and play along for that if you would like to. So here I've just got a blank tag and a blank card with the card mounted up ready, and I've focused here on doing different sort of colouring in. So this one is all flat. I haven't cut anything out, I haven't built it up. That's just coloured in slightly kind of unusual colours, like pink and orange sky or whatever, but that's just coloured with watercolours and then stuck to the background. And once you add that maybe to a card or a tag, you can see how that starts to work. So that one is just flat watercolour. This one is watercolour, but I've also cut out the toadstool and mounted it just a little bit higher. And you can see little bits of pencil and the white pen, but it is just watercolour, and then stamping it again to cut out that toadstool just to give it a bit of dimension. Again, you can see how that works when you add it to a ready-made background. This one is coloured with infusions, but with the matte glaze. Now that tends to stop, the watercolours tend to run away with you a little bit sometimes. The minute you mix something like infusions with a glaze, it stops that running away tendency. So it gives you quite a different look as well. And again, I've stamped that toadstool and cut it out so it can just be a little bit dimensional. And you might recognise here as well, this is previous little minis, the texture stamps that I've just brought in and stamped onto that background as well. And this one is one of my old favourites. Now, I've done a video on this before. This is the paper piecing. So in the background you can see the broken squares stencil, and this is using infusions. And then I've cut out the toadstool, so stamped it twice, cut out the toadstool and used that on the top there. And again, you can see how that looks once it's on a pre-prepared kind of background. And then finally this one. Now this is a very simple watercolour wash, but I masked out the central image here. So once that background has the wash, you can trim down and add any image on there, and it's just another way of framing something. So it's about using your stamps to get the maximum use out of them, looking for different ways to use the stamps that you have. And something like this, you can either leave those legs dangling down, or you could chop them off and make him fit. That would be up to you. So look out for that live craft along. I hope you'll come and join me for that. Let me just get rid of those bits. Now we're going to have a look at this pigeon set. So here We've got the flying pigeon looking slightly silly. Of course, there's a couple of crowns, so you can add a crown. Also here, these ones, I designed these with a little gap in the middle to fit in his beak. So he can be delivering a heart, he can be delivering a little leaf. And you'll see an example of that in a moment of how that works. Here's a little baby pigeon with his wings on the side there. And this pigeon here. And what I've done in some of my samples, you see with King and Queen, you can stamp that in the tummy if you wanted to, and then like put the crown on. Also comes with this slightly larger quote here of Funky, then a few like little birdie footprints, and here's the quote, peace, love and freedom. So let me show you some samples of those. So here we have a tag, and again I've gone for the wobbler. Once I discover something new, that's it. It will appear on everything for a while till I get it out of my system. And here, look, the word Queen stamped in the middle. This one has been coloured in with infusions mixed with glaze. You get really super strong colour, of course, from infusions, but the glaze makes it just a little bit easier to manage because it's not running away with you, and you can really build up that colour. In the background, you'll see I've added some just bits of transparencies there. The crown is on a transparency. And these behind, this is the circle stencil, and behind is the dots and dashes. So you might be able to see that there. Of course, all of these samples will be on the Paper Artsy blog as well. So as soon as this video has gone live, you can have a look at the blog for a really close-up look. You know, you can really get in and scrutinise it if you want to. Now this one, yes, this one has got the full-on spinner. Oh my, it is such fun. This is, of course, from the stamp set previously. So I've cut out the toadstool from here because I just felt that the pigeon needed something to stand on. Here's the larger quote, look funky. Now, one thing I do find with a larger quote like this, I've actually stamped this onto, you can just see it shining a bit there. I have stamped that onto a transparency. It's quite hard. You'll know this feeling when you've done your background and it's all ready, but you want to stamp a big word and you get one chance to get that right. If you stamp it on a transparency, it's quite easy then to layer up. And then if it goes wrong, you get a second chance. I've got the little crown here on a jaunty angle. And the background is the circle stencil. You can see the circle shape here. And this is all done with infusions. Again, I've got previous videos on how I do that, how I lift the colour off a stencil to create this nice watery, more gentle background, even with infusions, which can be very, very bright. And let's have a look at this one. This is with a this is with the spinner. Obviously, they don't spin as well when they're lying flat, but this will really go for it when it's sitting up. So again, you can see this is this is an alcohol print on the gel plate, but you can see that circle. Of course, the nice thing about anything circular like this is it's a great place to put your central image. It sits so nicely in the middle, just frames it. You can see it behind on this print as well. So this is 2 alcohol ink prints on the gel plate. Not sure what I coloured her with actually. It might be, yes, I think it is infusions with the matte glaze, obviously with a crown there. And then this is just scraps of ribbon and muslin. This one, I took a risk and I did stamp that directly, but it was easier on there because it was a nice flat print for me to do that. Okay, so I did mention, So just look back at the stamp set again. So here is Flying Pigeon, looking a bit silly, with these bits here, meaning he can be delivering something, and in this case he's chasing another pigeon, although actually, of course, I did it once, cut it in half, so there's his front, there's his back. And then under here, this is the quote from the Little People set, "For you." And he's on a background with the circle stencil and the squares, and in the middle here is the dots and dashes, because I did already say, I think, that this makes a really nice gentle background. So it's not really too much, it's not fighting with anything. So in the background, you can see all those dots and dashes, and I've just layered that up, hand cut a circle shape out here. So it's not perfect, don't look too close. And then it just frames the chasing pigeons in the middle. It's just a bit of fun. And this one, now this is going back to, again, the Collage stamp set, and all I've done, I've masked it and just stamped that background onto a gel plate print, which just fits in that little pigeon with the crown. I've raised the sun as well, that's already part of the background set, even with all these little circles, the extra detail. So it just makes it easy. You stamp it onto a gel plate print, but it's all there. And I will give you some tips on how to mask that as well when I do my live, and mount it up onto squares. This is an alcohol ink print again. This one is the grunge paste through a stencil on top of a gel plate print. You can see dots and dashes there. And I can just show you as well, he's just on a slight angle, just to give him that kind of slightly cheeky look, popping up to say hello. And Katie's got this fabulous sample for us here, where she's managed to bring in Flying Pigeon, delivering his heart to Pigeon down here. She's added love here as well, and For You, and look at all that gorgeous colour. I think how she's done that, I think that's done with, yeah, I think that's done with frescoes on there. Looks like a painted background. Lots of extra stamping. Look, she's brought in all the little footprints as well. Beautiful, isn't it? So vibrant. Now, I did promise you we're going to have another look back at Katie's book here, because now you will see, if I go in a little bit closer for you. So we've looked at the little people, but look how she's also brought in Silly Pigeon with Just Wing It. And we've got the I Love You This Much. And then here she's cut out the toadstools from the collage sets and layered them up here. Gorgeous colours as well, all this purple, it's beautiful. And little pigeon here, googly eyes. You see, I've not got any of these. I've got spinners and wobblers. You know what I need next? I need googly eyes. And she's also using bits here, clever. She's cut out the little moon from the collage and added it behind, again, the trees from the collage. It really is about using the full, the stamps as met in different ways as you can to get the full use out of them. Down here, these, it looks like leaves. Actually, you can use these as wings for the little baby pigeon, but Katie's stamped them down here, and she's built them up as leaves. So again, she's getting a different use, sharing the love again, delivering the heart, and finally jive dancing, love, peace and freedom. Before I go, I just want to share some backgrounds that I've made with the stencil. So this is the square PS009. And this is how it looks. It's made as a whole up page there, and this is using the infusions. These are some alcohol ink prints. You can see though I've already chopped into these to use them. You've already seen them on projects. There's another alcohol ink print, and then this one is a bit of a mixture, swirly infusions. You can see dots and dashes there, and then the squares there. I do find this square one actually super useful. You will have noticed that will have popped up in quite a lot of my samples today. circle is PS 510. And here's some samples with the circle. This is infusions over the grunge paste, which acts as a little bit of a resist. And then some alcohol ink prints. That's infusions. Again, infusions. Check out previous videos because there's all the technique videos there with these techniques in alcohol ink. Even the ones that turn out a little bit pale, I keep everything. They're all useful. And finally, just before I disappear, this is the dots and dashes. So there we have an example with infusions, lifted off, technique that I've shared before. There's an alcohol ink print. You can see that's quite different. And here, I think I did a background with some infusions. I think I sponged distress ink through to create this here. Then I've splatted more infusions on the top. So just some samples there, the kind of backgrounds that you can create, because once you have these and you've got all your stamp designs, you're away really. You've got plenty then to play with. So just let me bring in some of those samples again. Do hope you've seen and enjoyed seeing all of those. As usual, from me, you get quirky, you get a bit silly, you get a lot of colour, and hopefully a lot of fun. And I look forward to doing the live craft along with you. It's coming up in June. Look out on the socials. We'll be sharing details of that. I hope you'll be able to join me in playing along. I want to thank very much Paper Artsy just for everything, all their technical help for the making of everything. So thank you so much to Leandra, to Mr. Paper Artsy and all of the team. And I look forward to seeing you at the craft along. Thank you so much, everybody. Don't forget to go and have a look at the blog for all the close-ups where you can have a really, really good close-up look and scrutinize everything. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next time.